Hi there, my name is David and welcome to bricksblocks&mocs. So for today's video I thought we are gonna recreate the Koenigsegg Gemera. And yeah, the Koenigsegg Gemera is maybe the most hyped up car of 2020. So yeah, I feel a bit of pressure actually to make this car really good. But I actually think it can turn out pretty well. I think the most tricky part will be the overall silhouette of the car. But yeah, I think it can turn out good. So yeah, some things I really want to include. I want to have the synchro helix doors, maybe not the exact mechanism as I had for the Agera RS, but maybe something like the Jesko. And I also want to be able to fit 4 minifigs inside, I think. But yeah, other than that, if I'm able to fit an engine and an openable engine bay and maybe an openable frunk, all that is just plus. It's not a criteria I have, but I would really like to make the doors and to be able to fit 4 minifigs inside. But yeah, other than that, I think we will just get on with the building. And also, if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hit the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. All of that you already know. And please follow me on Instagram as well. But yeah, let's get on with the building. Alright, so I have now created a part of the front. I went a very simple route, but I think it resembles the front very good in my opinion. And from the beginning I thought I would maybe try to like capture the details in the lights here a bit more instead of using this 2x2 wedge plate. But I think this just looks better. I could maybe have used a black wedge piece here for the headlight instead, because it's more black than white actually. But I just think this looks better. Other than that, the air vent here, it's very simple actually. It just takes use of this 1x1 modified brick or with a headlight or whatever it's called. And then with a bar with a clip piece and then a corner round tile that is attached to the bar clip piece. And it is a simple solution, but it's always better to go the simple route instead of trying to complicate things. So yeah, I haven't attached the bonnet yet, just because I will try at least to do some kind of hinge here for the bonnet, but I don't know. But yeah, now I will just finish up the front. It was actually very straightforward to create this front. I'm a bit surprised actually, but yeah, now I will finish up the front and then I don't know what I'm gonna start on next. I think I might start to think about the doors. The sides, because it is a lot of shaping that is going on the sides here, and the doors also look pretty thick, which isn't that good if you want to be able to fit minifigs inside, because minifigs are very thick and the doors can't be too thick because then the minifig arms won't fit. It's just, I think that is gonna be very tricky. The windscreen this time, I won't use an actual windscreen piece. This time I will use bar pieces because it's such a different type of windscreen. It is one Lego windscreen in this size that might work as a Koenigsegg windscreen, but it is a bit too thin. I don't know if you know that piece, but I don't know if I can't find it right now, but yeah, I don't find it right now. But yeah, it is a bit small, that windscreen, so I don't think it will work for this particular car. But yeah, I will also start to build a wheelbase, I think. So yeah, let's do that right now. Alright, so I have now come pretty far on the Gemera actually, And I've created the door, one of the doors. This mechanism for the synchro helix doors is actually pretty simple. It's a lot simpler than for my Koenigsegg Agera RS. But yeah, this mechanism just works a lot better than the mechanism on the Koenigsegg Agera RS. And it's actually the same mechanism I use as for the Koenigsegg Jesko. And to create the shaping of the side of the car or doors, I just do some different slope pieces, some curved and some normal, like these cheese wedge pieces. But yeah, other than that, it isn't that much more that has happened. What I think I will do now is just start to create the rear end of the car. I have some ideas. One idea I have for the rear lights is to use these like transparent tile grille pieces just to capture the detail of those rear lights a bit better. And if I manage to pull this off and use these pieces, that will look so good. But yeah, that is something I'm gonna try right now. So yeah, let's do that. Alright, so I have now created a bit of the rear of the car, and so far it looks so good in my opinion. Just take a look at this. This just looks so good. You know, when you find this particular piece that just works so well for a specific detail. I'm of course talking about these tile grille pieces for the rear lights. I have run into a bit of an issue though, because I'm running short on these wedge plates. I would actually need one of each more, because I will need one here, this I will need here, and I will also need this here. But I also need one of each more that I can have for the side air vents, like here. And for almost every single build I make, it's almost always some part I'm running short of. And yeah, what I can do is just order some parts on Bricklink, or what I most often do actually is to find another solution. One thing I have been thinking about that I can do to solve this problem without ordering any new parts is I actually use these type of wedge pieces here and here. So what I could do is maybe replace this tile here and this wedge piece here to one of these 3 stud long wedge pieces. I think I will try to do that and just see how it looks. So wait a second. So what do you think? Does it look okay? I think it works. If I decide that I will make this for a set or maybe instructions, I will probably use these pieces instead with the tile here and this wedge piece. This just creates a bit too much overhang here in my opinion. But yeah, if you are missing parts when you create molds in LEGO, it is just so good and so awesome to see how you can solve that problem with the parts you already have. Actually, many times when I face a problem I could solve with a part or parts I don't have, it's actually many times that the solution I come up with the parts I actually have many times actually turns out better than the solution I could have gone with if I had the parts I didn't have. So yeah, sometimes it actually is pretty good to have a bit of limitation when you are creating things, because you end up just thinking that extra step, which many times lead to a better solution in the end. But yeah, I will keep on building the rear a bit here. And also one thing I forgot to mention, I tried a bit of a seat design actually. I don't know if I'm gonna go with this. Maybe it's a bit thin, but yeah, I will just keep on building. Alright, so I'm now done with the rear of the car, and it turned out very good, but I ran into another problem again. I ran short of some tiles, and I will try my best to explain what the issue was. So, here is the rear, and yeah, I think it turned out so good. It looks a lot like the actual rear. rear of the car. The issue here was these tiles. These tiles are a bit long. They are 2x4, and what I would have liked to have was 2x3 tiles actually, just because I would have been able to make this shorter. And I also couldn't use a tile like this and then angle them like this, because these sit on some modified bricks with studs on the side, these curved wedge pieces. And therefore I couldn't attach this like this, because then I wouldn't be able to attach anything here that would overlap this. See, no studs to attach it to. And I couldn't do like this either, because then this can just slide out and come down because it's locked in, but it isn't attached to anything. That was the problem, and I would have liked to just have a 3 long tile like this. What that would have enabled me to do is to shorten this part and only have it like 3 studs instead of 4 here. And I could have just made this whole section a bit shorter. Don't think it will become an actual issue. It's just that I will have a bit less space here to work with. It would have been nice to have like 1 extra stud in length here, but it looks so good like this now, so yeah. Alright, but now I think I'm gonna start on the roof line of the car, and yeah, the roof line, the interior, and then I think it's almost done, so yeah, let's do that. So I think I said that I was going to completely finish the model. However, it just happened so many things now. So I just felt like I had to give you a bit of an update. The biggest thing I've actually changed that you can see right now is the headlights. I actually posted on my Instagram, you might have seen that on my story, and asked my Instagram followers which of 2 headlights design they preferred. And I actually ended up not going with any of those and used this headlight design instead. Then another thing I changed, which helped a lot. You know that I said that I was running short on this 2x2 dark bluish gray wedge plates. But I actually noticed that on the rear of the Koenigsegg Gemera, the lower part here is actually completely black. These wedge pieces were actually dark bluish gray before, but I changed them to black, because that represents better the color of the car, of the rear of the car. That enabled me to use these 2x2 dark bluish gray wedge pieces in the front anyway. And I also changed out these dark bluish gray corner tiles to these jumper plates, just to be able to offset these 2 white corner tiles. And then moving on to some things I've added now. First of all, just to have that out of the way, the bonnet is actually openable thanks to the double hinge technique, which I've talked about both in my BMW 3 Series video and my Mercedes G63 video. And I also have a short building tip over at my Instagram of this technique, so I won't talk about it in this video as well. But yeah, that's what I used for this bonnet. And then the windscreen, I don't think I have to give too much comments about that, because all the techniques for the windscreen is completely exposed. But what's more interesting though is the roof, because it was really tricky to fit this roof, because I kinda had to fit it in the middle of the car. The problem is that I also had to be able to fit the Minifigs, and they take up quite a lot of space. It didn't help that I also needed to slightly angle this roof. So what I ended up doing was actually build up like a pillar in the middle. And for the roof I used this kind of special plate that is 1x5 studs, that in the middle has this Technic cross hole, which enabled me to attach the roof to the bar clip piece, and also inside to lock the doors in place when they are closed. I used the same technique as I used for my Jesko build with this rubber Technic piece. And then this part of the roof line isn't actually attached yet. I just attached it with some blue tack, which I talked about before. I used that just to create an idea of what something will look like before I actually attach it. But yeah, it isn't too much more I have to do before this car is finished. What I have to do is attach this part of the roof line and then create an interior. And yeah, then it is actually done. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do right now. Alright, so I'm now finally done with the car, and it has actually been a few days since I last filmed, because I ended up doing a bricklink order anyway. And yeah, I know what I said. See how you can solve that problem with the parts you already have. But yeah, this time I really needed and I wanted to do a written quarter to make this car look the best as it could. And the parts I needed to complete this were some 2x3 dark bluish grey tiles, which I talked about before. As you know, here at the rear, these dark bluish grey tiles, which now are 2x3s, I only had 2x4s. But yeah, as I explained before in the video, those 2x4 dark bluish grey tiles took up a bit unnecessary much space. And first I thought that that wouldn't become such big of an issue, but when I was going to attach the second part of the roofline here, I really did need that extra space to attach this, which I by the way ended up attaching with just some simple hinge pieces. And yes, I could maybe have gone with 2 black 2x3 tiles instead of ordering some dark bluish grey ones, because it is a very small part of these tiles that actually are exposed, so it might have been okay using some black instead. But as I'm hoping to do a bit of a different video with this, I really wanted this car to look the best as it could for that. But yeah, other than that and the second part of the roofline, I also completed the interior now, and I ended up using the first seat design I came up with. And first I thought those seats looked kind of thin, as I said in the beginning, but together in the interior it actually looks pretty good. But yeah, you're also able to fit 4 minifigs inside the interior, and as I already mentioned in the video, it has openable doors and openable frunk, and the roof is pretty easy to remove. But yeah, that's it for today. I really hope you liked the video, and if you did, please like it, and if you haven't already, please subscribe if you want. And yeah, that's all it for today. Bye for now.